Hello all. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Let's bring the year together, shall we? This is the review of my eBay store for 2024. I'll be looking at four main things. Number one will be my sales highlights for quantity, for value and for markup. Secondly, I'll be discussing some of the strong brands that I've found this year, those that sell really, really quickly and perform really well. Also, the behind the scenes developments that I have done this year that I believe has led to the growth of my eBay store. And finally, I'll be looking at what I'm going to be concentrating on next year to add to the growth that I've had this year. So everybody just needs to get themselves a nice brew, sit back, okay, and I'll take you through the year. All right, it's been a good one. I've enjoyed it. So firstly, it's a nice cup of tea, that is. Let's start with some sales stats. In terms of quantity, what I've done is I've compared January to November. I've got my data for 2023 and my data for 2024. Now, in 2023, 523 things were sold. Okay, 523 items, 523 parcels between January and November of 2023. 2024, 771. All right, so there's an extra 248 parcels that I have delivered or put into the system. So as a side hustle, that's great. That's great. I'm really, really pleased with that. It's averaging about £3 to £4 markup per parcel, but yeah, so I'm really pleased that that is growing. In terms of my best finds for the year, I'll do this in two sections. Okay, first one being value, second one being percentage markup. In terms of value, that is just the profit that I made. The top three for this year. In number 3 was a pair of Dahu ski boots, DAHU. These were brand new, and I have said in previous videos that if you see things in charity shops that are slightly more than what you expect them to be, don't discount them. Do your research, and that's exactly what I did with these. They cost me 25 quid, but they were brand new, and I did a bit of product research, and I knew that they were a pretty good brand, and my instinct served me well on this one because I took an offer of £63.60. So this got me a profit of £21.95, and considering that my normal profit is £3 to £4 per item, that was a very, very good one. Okay, so that came in third. In second, and I believe this one was brand driven because it is quite a strong brand. It took a bit of time to sell. Those Dahu ski boots only took about a week to sell. This one took a bit longer, but it was a Jansport or Jansport crossbody bag. Okay, and I picked that up for £3, and I sold that for £33.60. Okay, so that was a really, really good sale. That gave me a profit of £22.05. Okay, so that came in second. That, as long as the bag's in good condition, that is totally and utterly brand driven, because the Jansport or Jansport crossbody bags are very, very popular, and it's a decent brand. I believe it's a German brand. And coming in at number 1 in terms of what I bought and what I sold for, this was a JVC hard disk drive DVD writing recorder. Okay, these are sought after because you can't really get them in Currys anymore. I was about to say Dixon's then, but Dixon's went bust ages ago, didn't they? You can't really get them in electrical retailers anymore. eBay is really the only place where you can get them. So yeah, this one went quickly. I can remember I bought it for a tenner, but I needed the remote with it. I knew because it was an HDD recorder, a hard disk drive recorder, this is something that's got a drive internally inside the machine that you can record onto. I knew that this would go for roughly about 70 quid. So yeah, there was a markup there. So I got a remote control with it as well, which cost me 14 quid. So all in all, it cost me £24.39, and I sold it for £63.60. But the markup that I made on this, because you've got to take fees into account and you've got to take postage costs as well. The ski boots, the postage cost hammered me a little bit on those, but this packed up quite small, so it was okay. £28.61. All right, now you might be thinking to yourself, hold on a minute, some of the eBay resellers that I see on YouTube are selling for like hundreds of pounds. You know, you're nowhere near that markup, Smithy. Yeah, I know, because I think this channel's a bit more realistic about what being a reseller is. Yes, I've had the big ones before, and to be honest, the really good finds, the ones that are probably worth a little bit more, I've actually kept for myself. Have I got it here? Yes, I have. As you know, I'm a golfer, okay, and I picked up a Callaway Golf Bobby Jones 1 putter, okay. Now, this cost me 50p, and these go for about 60 quid. There's a little bit of rust on it, okay, but I'm cleaning it up. This is mine. That is beautifully weighted, absolutely beautifully weighted. And I've also got a Ping Answer putter as well that I picked up. And again, that was about £1, and they go for about that much as well. In terms of, sorry, not £1, 60 quid. All right, so I do have some there that are slightly higher than that, but I've got to clean those up a little bit and test them out myself before I decide whether I'm going to put them onto the world of eBay or not. All right, so in terms of value, those were my best finds of the year. And to be honest, if you're thinking of reselling, and if you're thinking of going and looking in charity shops and refuse tip shops and stuff like that, I would say that it's quite a realistic representation. Yes, you can find the bangers, you can find the holy grails, you can find the things that get you very, very good markups, but I think I'm showing you here that then it's not going to happen every day. It's few and far between. Okay, right, what about percentage markups? Okay, in third place for my percentage markup was a Low Pro camera bag, and it was a sling camera bag. Okay, I picked this up for £1.50. All right, great little find, because I sold it for £28.60, which gave me £20.30 back after fees and postage and stuff like that, which was 1,335%. So that is obviously a very good markup, considering that I'm usually aiming for between 50 and 100%. So that's great. Secondly, and these sold quite quickly, I picked them up for 50p. These were a pair of Endicott Johnson bowling shoes. I had a bowling bag and the shoes were in the bottom of the bag. So really, I think the bag and the ball and the shoes all in all cost me about £2.50. So I valued the shoes at 50p. The ball is what props open our patio door. We put it in a plant pot, and it's the perfect height to prop our patio door open in the summer. So that wasn't sold. The bag was, though, and that nearly made it into this top 3. It was a good find. It was like a vintage find. But some vintage Endicott Johnson bowling shoes, 50p, sold them for £13.60, £7.71 back, and that gave me a markup of 1,542%. Okay, if you consider that each block of 50p is 100%, that's what it comes out at, 1,542. So again, a nice find. And number 1 for percentage markups, it cost me 40p, but it was an Oakley hard glasses case. Okay, got it for 40p, sold it for £17.10. That gave me £10.64 back, which is 2,660% markup. Oh, all right, if only each and every find was like that. But yeah, there was just sometimes it's worth going through the glasses cases. And did I say camera case or glasses case? Do you know what? I can't remember. Oakley don't make cameras, okay? Oakley makes sunglasses. All right, so this was a hard Oakley sunglasses case in really, really good condition. That's what got me this. Okay, so in terms of percentage markups, these were the top 3 for this year. Again, as I said, I'm happy between 50 and 100. You've got to be realistic when looking at this. These are just little Brucey bonuses, all right, that, you know, make you smile, make you happy. But really, if you're getting between 50 and 100, you're doing well. So what about brands? What brands have sold really well for me this year, or what brands have I discovered that are very, very strong in terms of the speed in which you can turn something over? I've mentioned one of them already, okay, and this was a find from this year, and it's the Low Pro camera bags. I've sold 2 or 3 of them this year, and they go quickly. They go really quickly, and you normally find that camera bags in charity shops or in like refuse shops are just put into a corner, or might just be put somewhere, but they're certain that they're pretty much marked all at the same price. So if you can find one with a pretty decent name on it, then you might get something. But Low Pro, okay, LOWEPRO, and it very much, the symbol looks very much like the Low Alpine symbol. Okay, so yeah, that's one to look out for. Another one to look out for, and this was something that I knew about, but this year they've sold really, really well and really quickly, and that is the rugby brand of Canterbury of New Zealand. Okay, any polo shirt, any pair of joggers or trousers with this logo on, or with this brand, it goes and it sells, and each and every one that I've put on has sold really quickly. The 2 that come to mind were both a pair of lined trousers with a full zip going all the way up the side. Why I'm putting my fingers up my legs at the moment, I've got no idea, because you can't see my legs, but that's what I'm doing. All right, the zip went all the way from the ankle on the outside of your leg all the way up to the bottom of the buttock, so that if you had a pair of boots on, you just unzip that, slip them on with your boots on, and then do the zip back up again. All right, and I had 2 of those, and they both sold really quickly. We're talking days. So that Canterbury, if it's in half decent condition and the photos are good, you'll find that it sells. All right, I can't let branding speak continue without mentioning this brand in terms of sportswear. I've mentioned it in previous videos as well. Yeah, you've got your Adidas. Yeah, you've got your Nike. They sell, but they will sell, but they're not going to sell super quick because the market is quite saturated with these products. Under Armour, the market has also got a lot of these products on, but they sell really quickly. I think it's Under Armour have got it right. Their products are of a good quality, and it appeals to men and women, and it appeals to all age groups as well. Like the teens will wear Under Armour, okay, the 40, 50 pluses will wear Under Armour, and nobody really bats an eyelid about it being a brand associated with a certain age group. It is a brand that's associated with quality garments, so any Under Armour stuff sells, and sells really, really well. But in terms of my brands of the year, Under Armour doesn't quite make it to number 1. Number 1 is Marks and Spencer's. Well, I never ever thought that I would be saying that, but if you find, especially with menswear, I haven't really done it with women's wear, maybe that's something I can try next year, but the Under Armour Calizione, is it Calizione range? It's usually Italian wool that they make for that. The Marks and Spencer's Autograph range and the Marks and Spencer's Sartorial range are very, very strong sellers, especially if you can get the trousers, like the formal wear trousers, and put it in charity shops. There's loads of trousers in charity shops. So if you can pick up from these brands, especially the wool ones and the wool blend ones, I would say that actually the wool blend ones are better because you can just chuck them in the wash and just wash them without shrinking them. Whereas if they're 100% wool and you put it on a 40-degree wash, you're gonna have to lose a bit of weight. So yeah, the Marks and Spencers, the also the woolen jumpers as well, the lamb's wool jumpers, Marks and Spencers, whoop, gone. Okay, really quick sellers. And the heavy like flannel cotton check shirts, like giving you like the country look, I've put those on. They do take a little bit longer to go, but they still go. All right, if I've still got a Marks and Spencer product that is like a premium pair of trousers or a jumper made out of some form of wool, about a month after I've put it on, then that will get my attention, because it's very rare for that to happen. Okay, so my brand for this year, all right, and I've mentioned it before, and some people have commented on the videos and said, oh, never really thought of it like that, but my brand for this year is Marks and Spencers. So bringing my sort of like branding products section to a close for the review of this year. I've spoken about brands, but products as well. What has sold well in terms of products? One discovery over the summer that I made was linen trousers. They were going like hotcakes. They were going really quickly. I was coming across them quite regularly. I think the charity shops had them and were putting them out in terms of seasonality. I don't think they were just, you might think to yourself that in the back of a charity shop that whatever they get they just put out. I don't think that's the case. I think they'll hold things back for seasonal. Okay, and I was finding that I was coming across a lot of linen trousers, and if they were this brand again, Marks and Spencers, and it didn't even matter whether they were 100% linen or a linen blend, because sometimes some of the trousers are mixed with viscose and they actually feel a little bit more robust with the material feel. But yeah, the linen trousers went really quickly. So that was a really good summer find. In terms of recently, if you think about it, we're in December, okay? Christmas parties, New Year parties, okay? It's the formal trousers, the men's formal trousers, the ones that go with the tuxedos, the ones that sort of like a black, but also have like a black stripe down the side of the trouser, sometimes in like a different material. It's usually quite shiny. I think I've sold 5 pairs of those this year. All of them a wool blend. I think some of them were polyester, but most were at least a wool blend. Again, Marks and Spencers, but these sold, and they sold very quickly. It's people needing them for their Christmas do's or their New Year parties and they haven't got any, or they found out that they might have put a bit of weight on during the year, they might have taken a little bit of weight off during the year, and the trousers that they have don't fit them anymore. Oh my god, I'm not going out and spending a whole fortune on them. Bang, eBay, what have you got? So that sort of mentality has led to some really strong sales for the tuxedo trousers. So that is a good tip to any of you out there for this time next year. Look for the tuxedo trousers, because in the run up to Christmas they do sell. And finally, I will say that these have sold very well in the run up to Christmas as well, okay? And if you source them throughout the year, usually they will sell in the run up to Christmas, and they're like hair products, like hair styling products, like your hair irons and your curling tongs and stuff like that. I think people are looking for them for decent presents. So if you can find a decent brand, Babyliss, Revlon, certainly GHD, even though if you find GHD in good condition, that's a bit of a holy grail, especially if they're of decent brand. Okay, so the hair care products are definitely something to look out for, as well as, I did say that was the last one, but I just remembered there's another one, and it's the good old staple wool. All right, if you can find a 100% wool jumper with a decent brand on it, either a designer brand or again Marks and Spencers, they will sell. Okay, I think that's about 6 times I mentioned M&S now. I'll shut up about them, but they really have performed well for me this year. Okay, let's talk about what was going on behind the scenes as well. So what are the things behind the scenes? What are the things that are driving the cogs to drive my business forwards? Okay, because I have had growth this year. As I said, in terms of the amount of sales that I've had, and also on terms, I get paid weekly by eBay. One thing that I like about eBay is that they do pay out quite quickly. If you're on Vinted, I know it takes longer. eBay, you can get your sales amounts back weekly. You can even get it like the day after it's sold, but I like to do mine weekly. You can set it up for monthly as well, but to me, every Tuesday I get my sales amount paid into my account. And comparing that this year with last year, I'm averaging now about £45 a week more than what I was last year. So we are seeing growth. One of the reasons behind that growth is what you're seeing at the moment. Okay, my shed. All right, I have commandeered the shed. All right, because the business was growing. The lovely Mrs. S has been fully supportive in what I'm doing, and basically I've got it. And all the Christmas stuff that was in here and all like the knickknacks have now gone up into the roof, and we've also put a new shed up as well, and given me like this sort of like insulated thing to, you know, keep all the stock. So you can see here there's some stock there. If I come round, there's some stock behind me, and if I come round here, there's some stock there as well. So, you know, this is my little command center, and you need it. You do need it. If you're going to seriously think about reselling, you will need a base to work from, such as this. Okay, so I've now got it, and I reckon, and we were talking about this the other night, and there were a few eyebrows raised. At the moment, the shop's at about 250 items. I think this shed can go to 750. If we go above 750, it could be that I've got to start getting some extra storage. But hopefully, if I'm at the level of storing 750 products, then I should be making enough money to actually pay for that storage shed. All right, you know what I'm talking about, like the self-storage centres. We might be taking on one of those, but I don't foresee that happening next year. But the one thing that you do need, and this happened to me, it was May half term that we actually sorted this shed out. So that was one thing that I did, and it certainly helped with organisation. It certainly helped because I've got a desk. You can see there, this is my desk that's associated with all my reselling. Okay, it's where I do all my maths and stuff like that. So yeah, there is a command center as such, and that has helped immensely this year. Second thing is I really looked at the amount of time it takes me to list a product. I reckon I've halved the amount of time that it takes me. I keep saying I'm going to do a video on it. I will do a video on it. But in terms of actually getting the information down, and I used to put, well, one example being in the photo, I used to put text on the photo saying what it was and make an offer next to the actual product. I've stopped doing that now. That saved a bit of time, and I just put the make an offer in the title, the last part of the title. I'm finding that I can get the item specifics because you've got 80 words, and I'm finding that I can get the item specifics into the title as well as the words make an offer. So that's the sort of change that I've made, and that has saved me a little bit of time. And also I'm doing everything in bulk. As soon as I get it, I will measure it and put it onto the eBay drafts. Okay, and then all I've got to do then is photograph it. So that has really worked in terms of speeding things up. You can also go into like listings that other people have done and just click on sell similar, or a listing that you have done and just create a copy of the listing that you've done if you were selling a very similar product, such as like an Under Armour golf polo or something like that. So that has really helped this year as well. Repeat buyers. Now, I use in this sense a sort of like I call it the travel agent example. All right, I'm all about growth. I want to grow this business. I want to take this business to higher things. And when you're a travel agent, you are trying to get people's attention to book a holiday with yourself. Okay, that's great. Okay, but the real money is made if you can entice them in again and again and again and have them as repeat buyers. Now, this year I've had quite a few people who are repeat buyers, and the amount of people watching my store has now gone to above 100. This time last year it was only at about 20. So I am getting the attention of people, and I'm seeing in your eBay analytics, you'll see that there is a percentage for how many of your products sold during the month have been from repeat buyers, and that amount is going up. And I'm also finding that some people are buying multiple things at once who have bought from my store before. Okay, now you've got to realize who these people are, and sometimes, I mean, well, actually quite often, because I'm combining the postage, if they are buying 2 or 3 things, don't think to yourself, oh great, I'm making a killing on the postage here. Okay, no, I would actually refund the postage that you haven't used to that buyer. Keep them sweet. They are using your store, they are coming back to your store, you are getting profit from them. Okay, develop a relationship with them, send them offers. Okay, and that's certainly something that I'm going to be looking at doing this year. Repeat buyers is a huge, and I think often overlooked principle by many resellers. Many resellers think to themselves that they are just the middleman. Okay, you've got the product in, and now you want to link it to somebody who wants that product. Okay, yes, that is what you are doing, but also consider the fact that if they're return buyers, you want to develop a relationship with them. The eBay stars. Okay, the color of your star. Look, what you got to realize is, I did a bit of research on this. At the moment, internet sales in 2023, okay, just have a guess how many things, and this actually comes from the Office of National Statistics here in the UK. I don't know what it is in other countries in the world or worldwide, but here in the UK, how many products are sold online as a percentage of all products sold? Have you had a guess? It's 28. 28% of all products sold are online. Yeah, I thought it was a bit higher as well. Maybe they're including like food shopping in that. I don't know, but there's still a long way to go. All right, and what that says to me is confidence. Okay, people, if you gave somebody the choice, right, it's the same price, but you can actually feel and touch the product as opposed to just seeing photographs of it. Okay, most people would actually want to feel and touch the product. Okay, so that is why eBay only works if you are giving a more competitive price, and if you're reselling stuff that is of a decent quality, that's what you're doing. Okay, so you have to accept that you have to develop confidence in that buyer, and the eBay star system does go quite a long way to develop that confidence. I've been so pleased this year that my feedback has been really, really good. Okay, I think I've got 1 neutral and 1 negative and about 300 positive from the year. Okay, I think my current star score is about 860, 870, so I'm nearly up to that 1,000. That level hopefully will begin to inspire confidence in buyers that I'm actually honest and I will help as much as I can. The feedback that I really like is the ones that say, yeah, there's a bit of a problem with the product, it didn't quite fit properly. I told James about this and he immediately refunded as soon as he received it back from myself. That sort of feedback is golden, because it goes a long way to giving the person or the buyer a bit of confidence towards my shop, that I'm not just some sort of fly-by-night who just sends it out and then forgets about it. I try and help at each and every stage of the process. Okay, so that's certainly something that I've taken really seriously this year, and I think has worked very, very well. Postage. I could do it cheaper. I'm still sticking with Royal Mail, and I'm sending out about between 80 and 100 things a month now. And if I can keep doing that for the next few months, I can then, I've got to keep it above 80. Okay. So if you, what did I said that I was 771 over 11 months. So if you think about it, I'm nearly there or thereabouts. So I've got to get over 11 months to 880. That will give me 80 sales a month. I can then phone Royal Mail and they can then give me preferential rates. If you're sending out 80 parcels a month, then you can contact them if you're a business customer, and they will give you a better deal. Okay, but to do that, I've got to prove to Royal Mail that that's how much I'm selling, so I've got to use them to try and build it up to that 80. I'll see if I can do it, because I realise that if you use Every or Yodel, you're probably looking at between 30 or 40 pence cheaper per parcel. And if you're selling, you know, the near enough to 80, that's quite a substantial amount of money that I'm actually putting in. But it's far more convenient to use Royal Mail, because I sell so many pairs of trousers and shorts and stuff, they can easily fit into a post box. So I don't really have to go to any sort of like shop or store and hand the products over. I can just put them into the mailing system. So there is the convenience there as well. Jury's out on that one. I think I'm going to have to come back to you in 6 months and show you what I've done. And another thing behind the scenes, maybe I should have mentioned this a little bit earlier on in the video, but is this the fact that I've started a YouTube channel. This time last year I wasn't even thinking about doing it. Okay, all I do is I use my iPhone. Okay, it's an iPhone 13 Pro Max, and download it onto my computer and just put it all together. It is quite a simple process, and I was actually quite surprised at just how simple it actually is. Okay, to be able to get a video out there. I am really enjoying the YouTubing, and I'm certainly beginning to develop a few more techniques to try and develop the channel. Okay, and you might have noticed with my In, On and Gone series, I don't use that as a title anymore. I select another sort of title, because that way it becomes more likely to be watched in the future. Okay, and that what you're doing is you're basically creating digital real estate. Yeah, it's beginning to move. The amount of subscribers now is beginning to go up, and I'm really pleased with the progress that I'm making. My most successful videos have been those that have discussed eBay in terms of what is actually happening with eBay. When the announcement came in that they were cutting fees for private sellers, I did a video on that, and that was my most watched video of this year. Also, the recent GSPR requirements, I've just done a video on that, and that's been watched quite a few times as well. So it's those sort of videos that do really well, as well as the ones where I'm going around charity shops. Okay, I try and do one of those a month, and they do really well as well, because it's showing you out of my shed environment. But the YouTube's going really well. So again, thank you so much for your support on that. So what am I going to do this year for channel JR74? I'm going to continue, obviously, with what I've done so far, but in terms of developing it even more, I'm going to look into using eBay as a hub more. And what I mean by that is, there are some things that I've got quite a lot of, golf polos being one of them. All right, I've used the winter to stock up on these, hoping that they're going to sell in the summer. At the moment, it's like the jumper quarter zips, you know, ones like this that are selling well for golf attire at the moment. If I can put a half decent golf polo on Facebook Marketplace and then say with the link, if there's one good thing that you get with paying for an eBay shop is that they actually give you a link to your shop. So your product will have a link, all right, and your shop will have a link as well. So you can say, look, have a look at this golf polo, but if it's already sold, click on my link and there's others in my shop. Okay, just type golf into the search bar at the top of my shop, loads will come up. And that's the message that I want to put out there. So it's using other things to try and drive traffic towards my eBay store. That is certainly something that I'm going to look at. I'm also going to look at developing some digital products. I'm liking the idea of creating some sort of hobby journals that are digital but can be printed out on demand. I mean, you don't store the books, they're printed. I think Printify print them for you. I can't give you much more information about that because I haven't really looked at it yet, but it is something that I am going to have a look at this year. Okay, and hopefully this time next year I'll be talking to you about some of the journals that are actually selling. Okay, and as well, I think in my parcels that I send out, I think I'm going to put like a little, it could be a little business card, something along those lines, saying thank you for your purchase, and driving them back towards my site to leave some feedback if they are satisfied with the service that they have received. I try and get my orders out on the next day, all right, and you know, my star rating for delivery times is quite good. My lowest star rating, and you know, these things you got to have a look at, is cost of postage. But many resellers do this. They add a little bit onto their postage to pay for things like boxing, parcels, post bags, tape, stuff like this, and I'll continue to do that. Okay, so that's what I'm going to look at next year. So in conclusion, I'll leave you with these thoughts. 2024 has been a good year. All right, now in terms of the amount of the British public that have a side hustle, okay, we'll do a little guess again. Guess how many people, and again this is from the Office of National Statistics, guess how many people have got a second income coming in or have actually done something to generate a second income? It's 45% in the year 2023. Now, I had nothing to compare that against, but I did find some American figures. It's about the same in the US, but in the year 2020 in the US, and I think the UK can be comparable to this, it was only 13%. There's a lot more people developing side hustles and developing side hustle ideas and getting into stuff that they enjoy doing. Okay, I really enjoy going into charity shops and seeing if you can find something that you can flip for a profit. Okay, it's something that I like doing. That's probably, the sourcing's probably my most favorite part of doing all of this. The packaging and sending out probably the second favorite, and the bit that I don't really like doing is the tedious listing, and that's why I'm trying to make it as automated as possible but still maintaining the accuracy that needs to be maintained. Okay, so yeah, just think about that. A couple of stats that I've given you there. All right, couple of stats. You know, the 28% in 2023 for the amount of total sales that are online. To give you an idea, 10 years ago it was 11%. Again, Office of National Statistics, I will state that. All right, this isn't just something that's been pulled out of my head, but I will quote my sources as well. Right, that's it. Okay, I hope you've had a nice 2024. All right, and I hope that you're looking forward to a decent 2025. I hope that this video has given you some things to think about as well, and some ideas. Please like, comment, subscribe to your heart's content. Some of the comments that are coming in, you know, I want the comments so that I can do a video on the questions that I'm being asked. And yeah, there's one of them in the pipeline. Right, that's enough of me waffling. That's me done. Okay, it's been a pleasure for 2024. What a year it's been starting up this channel. Let's hope for more next year. Okay, but for the time being, this is Smithy out. All right, see you in 2025. Nice one.